All right, we are broadcasting.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order.
I, Margot G.K., the Town Clerk of the Town of Morristown, do hereby state that it is 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 28th, 2020, and that this meeting is being held remotely via webinar. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided according to law by written notice to the Morristown Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Town of Morristown, and to the Newark Star Ledger, both more than 48 hours ago. Notice was also posted on the bulletin board at Town Hall and filed with the Office of the Town Clerk of the Town of Morristown. I do further state that I shall enter into the minutes of this meeting a statement that such notice was furnished as particularly described by me in this public announcement. I'll take a roll call. Councilwoman Cotton.
Present.
Councilman Elms.
Present.
Councilwoman Foster.
Here.
Councilman Iannacone.
Here.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Here.
Councilman Silva.
Present.
Council President Armington.
Here.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
So now we'll sit for a moment of silence.
I'd like to, I'm sorry, before you go into the Pledge of Allegiance, just pay respect and a homage tribute, if you will, to Darrell Johnson, who was employed at the Morris School District, who we lost not too long ago. And so just keep him and his family in your prayers. He was, from what I know of him, I mean, we grew up together, in school together, lived around the corner from each other years ago. And so it sat in my heart to hear about the tragic loss. And so just wanted to lift his family up in prayer and, keep those young kids, school-age kids, and his wife and family in prayer.
Thank you. Now we're going to sit for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America.
and to the republic
Republic for which it
stands,
stands,
God.
God,
Visible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started, just a couple of announcements. Please be aware that public comment during the public hearing portion of the meeting will be moderated through the Zoom app. At the appropriate time, members of the public wishing to speak should indicate so by raising your hand in the app. You can find the raise your hand icon at the bottom left side of your screen. And when it's your turn, the moderator will send you a signal through the app asking you to unmute yourself so that you can be heard. The second thing is we did receive a resolution. It's a resolution authorizing the extension of the grace period for the payment of second quarter taxes. I would ask for a motion to add that resolution to the agenda as R-81-2020.
I'll make a motion to add that R-81-2020 to the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Elms,
Yes.
Councilman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone, Councilwoman Mayer,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolution has been added. There are 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. Unless a member of council would like to pull one or more for separate consideration, I would ask for a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Elms,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster,
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
and Council President Armington.
Yes.
At this time, I'll open the floor to for the public hearing on any matter. Please be reminded that you must raise your hand in the app to indicate you would like to speak. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less, and be advised that any derogatory comments targeting members of council and/or administration may be ruled out of order.
Okay. The first person we have is Nathan Umbriak. Mr. Umbriak,
Yes, good evening.
you may move forward with your comments.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. We came to you 2 weeks ago to express our family's concern about the proposed sober living facility in our quiet, close-knit community of Franklin Street, Randolph Drive, Woodley Road, and Shady Lane. Despite our neighborhood's concern and your commitment to zoning requirements, the owner of 1 Shady Lane was able to move forward and obtain state licensure on April 22nd. It seems that they have moved ahead and are operating some sort of housing facility. So my question is, who is managing oversight of this property? Zoning violations at this property will take months to address while the owners continue to collect rent. Whatever violations have been cited certainly hasn't deterred current or previous owners. Thank you.
I see one more hand. Deb, would you please unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Phyllis Crump. I'm at 13 Shady Lane, Morristown.
Sorry, can you please?
I'm sorry, did you?
Spell your last name, please?
C-R-U-M-P.
Thank you.
And your address, what was your address again? I'm sorry.
13 Shady Lane.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm a widowed senior who, after 35 years living at this address, deserves to feel safe and secure when driving into her neighborhood, especially in the dark. I might add that there are other widowed women as neighbors. Unfamiliar person living and walking about this small, dark street creates much anxiety. I also have concerns about the families with very small children who need to feel secure as they run and bike. We as neighbors know each other and the children. I believe the owners of 1 Shady Lane have total disregard for our small community and can find another source of income for their property. I pray the town will hear our concerns and act.
Thank you.
Okay. The next person on the list is Patrick Housel. Mr. Housel, if you'll unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening. Patrick Housel, 172 Franklin Street, Morristown, New Jersey. Okay. So I'm here again to continue to raise my concern for the current homeowners of 1 Shady Lane and their clear lack of respect for town rules in our neighborhood. As everyone on the council is aware, a number of residents from the Franklin East neighborhood were at the last council meeting raising objection to the owners of 1 Shady Lane and their intention to turn what should be a single-family home into a sober living facility. Our neighborhood is no place for one of these facilities catering to this type of transient tenant. I bought my home to be part of a community, contribute to a neighborhood, and raise my kids in a safe environment where I don't have to worry about who's living next door, who moved out one week, or who moved in the following week. Since we were last here and assured the situation would be monitored as we went through this process, the owners at 1 Shady just decided they'd skip the process. The facility's up and running, 3 tenants have moved in. They've actually moved into the back of the house while the current other tenants were on the front part of the house. I mean, that's another issue altogether, but again, the house is split. Multiple times throughout the day, tenants are picked up, dropped off by a large van, and there also appears to be some sort of staff working there as well. I appreciate the town's and the BA's response thus far. Zoning has been over, and we certainly appreciate the intention to issue violations, but quite frankly, that's not good enough in this situation. While this is reviewed, they need to be shut down. This should not be in the neighborhood. It's not zoned for this. There's no exception or no approval was granted. This is not a group living as a single family unit. People will constantly be moving in and out. It's a gross commercialization of our residential neighborhood. And it's an absolute shame that a prominent surgeon who works at Morristown Medical Center is behind this entire situation, trying to operate in the shadows. I ask the council, do the right thing and help us protect our neighborhood.
Thank you.
Jillian, you're muted.
Sorry. The next person is Nolan Bass. If you'll unmute yourself and then state your name and address to the record, please.
Am I unmuted? Okay. Nolan Bass, 3 Shady Lane. Good evening. I'm speaking to you tonight in response to the fully functioning sober living facility next door to me that seemed to pop up overnight. As you can imagine, the reality of the sober living facility up and running is quite frightening. The biggest shock for us is that at just the last council meeting, it was relayed to us that without zoning approval, such a facility could not start and that the town wouldn't comment any further because no application had yet been received. Well, zoning application or not, they're up and running and we really need answers. I have heard that a violation has been sent to the property owner, which is great and all, but it's also my understanding that the property area has several outstanding violations that are kind of pending, so I don't know how much one more is going to do. My question is, what is the town going to do about it? Setting violations at this juncture is not enough. Basically, an illegal boarding house is operating and it needs to be shut down immediately, meaning that the occupants need to be removed until this goes through proper channels and can be evaluated correctly. It is an insult to our neighborhood if we are expected to let them stay while zoning issues are being resolved. In our eyes, this entire operation at 1 Shady Lane is illegal first and foremost and needs to be stopped. Any other proposed solution at this juncture is unacceptable to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't see any additional hands raised.
Okay, if there are no further comments, we will close the public hearing.
Margot, I believe there was one email from a member of the community. What was his name? The gentleman who talks about the housing. An email.
John Williams?
Yes.
Would you like for me to read that one into the record?
I think that would be appropriate, yes.
Okay, I received an email from Mr. John Williams, 1 Washington Avenue. I'd like to address 2 topics this evening. 1, the town's rent control takedown policy, and 2, cybersecurity topics. Many people ask, what is the 50,000-foot view of the town's rent control takedown policy? My response is the town aspires to be a real estate development enterprise and properly utilizing town resources to achieve this end. To learn more, please see the Municipal Government Real Estate Developer Petition on change.org. Previously, we've identified the first 2 legs of the town's rent control takedown policy, the shadow ordinance / information for landlords, which provides false compliance information to landlords, and the legitimate municipal court policy that relies on the shadow ordinance. A 3rd leg of the takedown strategy is its market strategy, articulated in the town's guide to starting a business in Morristown, New Jersey. This guide is a marketing, quote, front end, end quote, to the shadow ordinance, providing false and misleading information about Morristown rent control. The name of the mayor and business administrator are prominently displayed on the cover of the town's guide to starting a business in Morristown, New Jersey, PDF document published on the town's website. Shifting to cybersecurity, several months ago, the town failed best practices for NJ municipalities in cybersecurity incident response plan and cybersecurity training for municipal staff. Can the administration please update the council and public on the status of these deficiencies? Ransomware attacks on municipal governments are on the upswing. The town council and public deserve to know high-level details on the town ransomware policy and preparedness. What is the town's ransomware disclosure policy? If the town or its managed service provider has been attacked with ransomware of any kind, will the town administration inform the town council in public? Will the town make public a high-level summary of a third-party audit of the town's and the town's managed service providers' cybersecurity incident response plans?
All right, with that, it seems like we're done with the public hearing. Is that correct in your assertion?
Actually, Councilman, there's some other comments that were submitted by email from residents of Shady Lane that did not speak during the public comment period.
Yeah, I actually have, Jillian, you're correct, Jillian. We actually have at least 12, actually 12 households who have sent us emails outlining their concerns.
Mr. Yannicka, would you say that the content of the comments are different than those that have been expressed previously?
Yes, I do. Actually, all the comments are quite eloquent, and I actually think that they appropriately capture a lot of our feelings also, but I'll address that when we address the public.
Well, then I think that as we've done in the past, we should probably, were those emails sent to the clerk or sent to you?
I will double check, but I think they were sent to both. But what I can do is, if it's okay with everybody, I will forward them to Margot and we can make them part of the record.
Okay, I think that's appropriate. Is that the general consensus?
Yes, I'd like to see them.
Well, I guess is the consensus that they should be sent to the clerk and not read into the record. So Shiva,
you need to unmute yourself.
You're muted.
Sorry, I mean, I think, based on the comments that we heard from the last council meeting and the few that we heard this council meeting, the comments are significant. But, I'm comfortable, if everybody else is comfortable, with the clerk forwarding those emails and those concerns to us. And then, we can address it, at our next, we can come up with, whatever responses or whatever we need to address, at our next meeting.
I think that the problem we're having is that we're being inconsistent in our process. So I think if we want to change the process for the next meeting, so be it. But to only provide public comment for those that dial into the Zoom and raise their hand. But for this one, I think we should it's appropriate to read the comments.
I agree, Council President. If we read one email that came in, then we should read all of the emails that came in.
Sorry, Margot.
That's okay. Would you like me to read the emails of those who have already spoken?
No.
Okay.
I think their comments are represented in their comments, oral comments.
Okay. Let's see. Why? Give me one moment, please. Okay, I have a comment from Peter Topolovich. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Good afternoon. My name is Peter Topolovich, and my family and I reside at 8 Randolph Drive. Like many of our neighbors, my wife and I are concerned about the situation developing at 1 Shady Lane and would like to share our thoughts. 1, how was the owner able to convert a residential property into a commercial property with little transparency to surrounding neighbors? Previously, when Morristown Medical Center makes changes to their property, we're notified via certified mail with the proposed changes and when they will be discussed during the town council meeting. Included in an attachment, which I will forward to administration and council, is the following statement. No license to operate a rooming or boarding house shall be issued until the applicant has provided proof of local zoning approval. To elaborate on that, a second attachment states the following, and I'm paraphrasing here. The enforcement of municipal zoning ordinances outside state jurisdiction. Enforcement of local zoning ordinances lies with the municipality. The department is unclear as to what other municipal codes might apply and therefore cannot comment further on this observation. Has the current owner bypassed this step? As a condition of sale from previous owner to current owner of One Shady Lane, were there any provisions which specify that the property could not be transitioned to a commercial use? If this is allowed to proceed, what sort of precedent will be set and how will it impact infrastructure such as parking and traffic situation? Depending on the type of facility, there could be up to 15 residents, not including staff. Currently, we have limited parking on the street and struggle with non-resident parking. We already have had issues with people speeding through the crosswalk at the intersection of Franklin and Randolph, ignoring our pedestrian sign, and our children have almost been hit. In these circumstances, can the state override local jurisdiction? If so, can federal override state? Was a license granted by the state as a cooperative sober living residence? And will this fall under Section F or Oxford Hall categorization? Will this fall under the oversight of Department of Community Affairs? And if so, what interaction has or will the town have with them? Will the residents seeking support in the sober living residence be truly set up for success? Bars are within a 15-minute walk. The neighborhood is full of small children with vigilant parents. Shouldn't the residents be in an area where they can integrate into a community of peers to increase the likelihood of a success at restarting their lives? Are there other CSLRs or facilities as such in Morristown, New Jersey? And is One Shady Lane's path consistent to the extent possible as such? Is there any requirement for how many CSLRs need to be in each town? What are the guidelines for picking an appropriate site for a CSLR? We're disappointed about the lack of transparency during this whole process. I'm not sure if we can find a reasonable path forward at the town council meetings, and the current owners in absentia, and it would definitely be helpful to me to hear their perspective. Jane Garcia, 9 Shady Lane. I've lived at 9 Shady Lane over 30 years, and I'm very pleased to be part of a family-oriented, wonderful neighborhood. However, I'm furious that what I believe is sober house going to be operated on our residential street at 1 Shady Lane. I want to know how many people in the addiction treatment industry can sleep at night when they have no problem ruining normal people's lives while they go home to sleep at night. What are you supposed to do when the house next door gets to be sold and instead of a normal family moving in, someone opens up a profit sober living house where the residents get no supervision and it turns into a loud party all the time with dodgy characters driving in and out all day dealing drugs? Furthermore, I'm sorry, excuse me, I had to sneeze. Furthermore, operating a sober house in the single family district would jeopardize the public health, safety, or welfare of the neighbors, that it would substantially impair or diminish property values in the neighbor. This is a nightmare to me and the neighbors as well. I want to know how this is right or respecting my rights. Thank you. This is a comment from Mr. Joel Schreiber, 5 Shady Lane. My name is Joel Schreiber and I live with my wife Beth and daughter Claire at 5 Shady Lane. We are writing to express our extreme distress about current developments at 1 Shady Lane, the first house on our street. After much protest against previous owners' attempt to rent the house to multiple unrelated individuals, with our council members' help, we succeeded in finally convincing that owner to sell. Now, unfortunately, we find ourselves in the same situation with the current owner establishing this property as a sober house with multiple entrances from multiple individuals. As in the previous situation, we are already seeing 4 to 5 cars come and go constantly, causing a safety hazard to our children. We have a daughter, Claire, who is 9 years old and likes to bike on our short street. Additionally, this current situation is directly in violation of zoning ordinance for our neighborhood, as pointed out in the case of the previous owner. We purchased our home on Shady Lane mostly for reasons of safety, quiet, and a great place to raise our child, and with these specific zoning laws in mind. 1 Shady Lane being a multiple resident, multiple entrance, and multiple automobile property we once again see our street become an undesirable and dangerous place to live. Finally, we are extremely concerned as to the impact on the value of our home, our largest lifetime investment, based on this situation. Both my wife and I work multiple jobs and have saved over our lifetimes to be able to live a normal family life in our great town. In my case, I am a 30-plus year resident of Morristown and enjoy its many great attributes and have found great pride in its diversity and quality of life. This culminated in purchasing and owning my first single-family home on Shady Lane, a lifelong dream. I now feel as if that dream has again been shattered by the continuous disregard for quality of life and local law of successive owners of 1 Shady Lane. Thanks for all your anticipated help enforcing laws that already exist to enable us to live a normal family life on our street. From Mr. James Carter at 11 Shady Lane. I and Angie Calder, I don't know if it's Calder or Carter, but it says Calder, live at 11 Shady Lane in Morristown and have been increasingly distressed at what appears to be a fait accompli just up the road from our home in our small neighborhood. At 1 Shady Lane, we only recently were made aware of the effort on the part of the owners of the home who do not live there or in town to use it as a halfway house for rental income. None of the residents in the neighborhood are on board with this, and just last week had an opportunity to air our concerns with the town council. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we assumed at a minimum we would be given a legitimate and fair chance to represent our neighborhood and to defend it adequately. Now it seems those owning 1 Shady Lane are moving forward anyway over our numerous protestations. I just want to add my own voice to the many already on record as opposing this maneuver, and to say this is not at all what is best for the neighborhood, for its family, for its value, monetary and otherwise, nor for its longevity as a safe, secure, and welcoming environment. Among other responses we'd all appreciate immediately is an explanation as to the process, the law, and our options regarding this matter. Okay. Bonnie Gregg, 15 Shady Lane. I have resided on Shady Lane for 43 years and I'm frightened by what seems to be happening with the house at 1 Shady Lane and the risk to our small neighborhood. Ours has many children below school age and several older women living alone. The prospect of living just doors away from recovering addicts is harmful to the people in many ways. The regulations pertinent to this property should be enforced immediately and the illegal use of this property stopped. Thank you for your attention. Anne Donegan, 168 Franklin Street. I am a homeowner on Franklin Street and I recently became aware of a quote, sober home, unquote, proposed at 1 Shady Lane. I am against this proposal. I was informed that there could be up to 12 residents. This is far too many for a neighborhood of single family homes with numerous young children. This property has been the subject of controversy for several years and I've been told it is now divided in violation of regulations. This current proposal seems like a continuation of a pattern of use without regard to the zoning and another attempt to make money from a single family home in the absence of a residing single family. I strongly oppose the proposal. And that's all I have other than emails from the residents who have already spoken this evening.
Thank you very much. With that, I assuming there's no others raised hands, I'll close the public hearing and open it up for council responses to public hearing comments. I would note that I do know that Councilman Anna Kellen and the administration is on top of the Shady Lane issue for their part. So I look forward to hearing from you guys.
I'll also forward to Margo to share with our council. I also got emails from Bonnie Gregg, 15 Shady Lane, Melissa Hassel at 172 Franklin, Lisa Pollock at 188 Franklin, and Beth Schreiber. And I'll forward those to Margo to also share with the council and administration. I will tell you that, disappointed in two respects. First, the Department of Community Affairs really gave no notice to the town that it was issuing this license, nor in the process was the State Department of Community Affairs in any type of communication with the town. So I know it's shocking that this license just pops up, but that's the way that the state decided to act in this way. And it's something that we should all take up with the state. The state should not be working in that manner. They really should be communicating with us and giving us notice of this application, trying to vet it out. They looked at this license application totally by itself. They did not seek any input from the town. They did not seek any input from the community. The second disappointment is truly with the property owner himself. This property has been nothing but a tragic burden for this community, which is a fragile community, you know, between Route 24, Route Madison Avenue, and the train tracks in Morristown Hospital. You know, fire, you know, different uses that were not permitted uses through the time. This is just another example of this property owner coming forward and just starting the use without even also giving any notice to the town that they were starting this use. A van shows up and 3 people get out of the van and they start residing in the back half of the house, which also tells us that the house is continuing to be used as a multifamily and it's not zoned for a multifamily. So already the property owner is in violation by using the property as a multifamily property. I have talked with Jillian, I have talked with Vij, I have talked with the mayor about this. Violations have been issued. Municipal courts are back in session. This will get to the municipal court. Nevertheless, I think we have to fight this both with the DCA and continue to do everything we need to do here in town. One, you know, it's not a group home. It is a commercial use with, Patrick Hassel had it absolutely right, with transient people going in and out. When you're doing detox, residential detox, it's for a period of no more, sometimes 30, maximum, sometimes, usually the maximum is 30 days. Sometimes you get 60 days. If you're lucky, you'll get 90 days. But these aren't people that call this home. It is not a group home. You know, we will fight this on every front, and I'll turn it over to Jillian and let Jillian tell us what she's done so far.
Before we turn over,
okay, gotcha.
If any other comments from council on any of the comments?
No, I echo the concerns of the residents, and also with our councilman, Ian Cole is saying, I think, you know, we really need to look into this and see what needs to be done in terms of trying to remedy this act and the situation. So, you know, my heart does go out to the residents who spoke and the ones who sent their emails and concerns regarding their, you know, safety and you know, the public safety. And so I look forward to seeing how we can, you know, do more to better assist the current situation at hand.
Thank you. All right, now we'll turn it over to the administration. Thank you. Jillian, you're muted.
Okay. So yes, the property, we were made aware of the recent activity of the property. Our zoning inspector and property maintenance director have been at the property several times since we were made aware of this, and a zoning violation has already been issued. The property owner only submitted their zoning application 2 hours ago. And prior to that, we had no further information from the property owner. I will also remind everyone that this property still has outstanding violations that have been in court that are still not resolved. We did make the state aware of that when they let us know that they've been applied for an application, or excuse me, a license at the state, and the DCA's response to us was that that was irrelevant to their licensure, which I would say the administration adamantly disagrees with. But we will continue to do any type of enforcement that we possibly can on this property to ensure that it complies with our zoning ordinance.
Thank you. So now I'll turn it over to the mayor for the report of the mayor and the town officials.
Sure. Am I muted or unmuted?
You're good.
No, we have.
Okay, thank you. And also, just a quick note for Shady Lane, and thank you to the residents for being so vigilant about your neighborhood. I can tell you that I've placed several calls to the state. I have emailed the state. I have sent violations down to the state. As soon as we heard this was happening, I was told that it was in the process and that they would get this message to DCA. I got a call after I found out they got issued a license. And I think some of the people I was talking to with the state are just as frustrated as I am. However, our legal department, our property maintenance division and zoning division are going to stay on this constant. I am going to continue to try to work through the DCA. You know, it's one thing to have a sober living, and we want anybody who's having issues with drugs and alcohol get sober. That is clearly everybody's wish for anybody, especially someone's son or daughter. But at the same time, the state just, in my opinion, doesn't look at the total picture. They just issue licenses based on whatever application they got and didn't take any criteria that we put in to not allow this license to take place. We will continue. I just want the residents of Shady Lane and Franklin and then Randolph and that neighborhood to understand that this is not falling on deaf ears. We are doing everything humanly possible legally that we can do. And we will continue to do. We will not just sit back. We will continue to work with it. Vij, Councilman Iannacone, and myself are going to have a conversation offline. We will continue to work on this. We will keep you informed through Mr. Iannacone, and hopefully at the end we'll have some success. But just so you all know that this is not something that we approved, not something we knew was coming until it was put on our plate, I don't know how many, a couple of days ago. When I found out, as soon as I found out they were applying, I went right to the state and passed on all the relative information. And it didn't seem to matter to DCA. So our fight is going to be with DCA. And I have a call into the chief of staff to the governor. And hopefully I will get a response sometime tomorrow. I did not get it. I got a text response today, but I was not able to have a conversation. But hopefully that'll happen tomorrow. So I just want all the residents that are involved in this to know that we are going to do everything we can. Okay, on that, and thank you again. On that note, just a couple of things. If you notice, if you're in town hall, any of the council members, there's some modifications going on. It's what we've been talking about for the last few days. You'll see every department has new windows, new access to deal with someone in a department. That's for the public safety and for our safety. The town hall is not open yet. We are open for business, but not open to the public. That will happen once the governor starts lifting some of the executive orders on how we can move around. But I'm uttering the same message to business owners to continue to look at ways that they're going to modify their businesses to get ready to open up when the governor starts lifting businesses to open. So we all hope that they continue. And as far as a couple of comments, I'm not going to comment on the shadow ordinance. I think our attorneys touched on that enough. But as far as the how to help someone open a business in Morristown is so progressive. And I want to thank Fritz Roos, who's our construction official, who really is the one who drove that for many years to get down ways for businesses to make it easier for them to open up businesses in our downtown, because they do pay 50+% of our tax base. So it's important that we have a thriving business district, and I want to thank publicly Fritz Roos for taking that, and he's been talking about that for 10 years. I want to thank all the volunteers that have been working during this pandemic, all the different organizations that have made it possible, the ones that keep making it possible, from Interfaith Pantry to all our churches to all our different organizations. There's so many people doing so much out there. It's an amazing community. I also want to keep all our healthcare workers, our doctors, our staff workers in our hospitals, all the people that make that happen, all our essential workers in grocery stores and gas stations and drug stores and all the people that work at Home Depot and any place that's open under the law. I want to thank all of them for going to work every day. And like I said the other day, when you go into a grocery store, or you go in, thank the cashier. Take the time to say thank you for putting their life on the line to serve us every day. And those are the real frontline workers, and I want to publicly thank them as I have over the last several weeks.
Oh, Mayor Doherty, I'm sorry. My daughter's in the background saying thank you, Tim, as she works for ShopRite.
Yeah, it's important to remember that it's really important to just take a second and thank a person who's back there working and who's just showing up every day. And we're not out of the woods with this. This is a very difficult time for everybody. It's a difficult time for the town. It's a difficult time for families. So when we have a chance to thank somebody, thank them. When we have a chance to say hello and put a smile on somebody's face, put a smile on somebody's face, because people are having a really rough time with this. And I also want to really stress one more thing. One is I want to thank all the workers that have been at Town Hall answering phones and making things still happen, whether it's with COs, whether it's construction issues, engineering issues, clerical, all the different workers, my office, finance, they're doing on rotating shifts, the police, the fire, the DPWs, workers are out there every day. Our government is working, and these guys have got it down pretty good. And we've been very fortunate with the coronavirus, the COVID-19, not to affect our workforce as some towns have. So I want to make sure when you see one of the town workers, tell them thank you. It's important. And the last thing I want to say, and I want to stress this, and I would like all of you to stress it too within your groups and your email chains. When the weather gets nice, Morristown is a very, very active place. A lot of people like to come down and walk down South Street, and even though there are some restaurants to take out and there's some stuff going on, not enough people, in my opinion. I'm not a medical doctor, but I listen to every news and read every news article I can. Wear face protection. Just wear it. And again, if you can't get it and you're in Morristown, you can call 973-292-6604 or email r-flanagan, FLANAGAN, at townofmorristown.org and get a face mask. It's something I'm pushing. I noticed a lot of people Saturday. I got some calls that there were a lot of people in our downtown, and a lot of people were still not practicing social distancing, that physical distance of 6 foot, and not wearing masks. I really, really want to push people wearing masks and keep practicing physical and social distancing and wash your hands often, because we are not out of the woods with this COVID-19. Thank you, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. Council liaison reports, probably not much going on, but
No, the Morristown Partnership hasn't been having regular meetings, though the partnership's been keeping their membership well informed. Again, just a reminder, shop local when you can shop local. Jen is working with the MPA to try to get more designated spots in front of the restaurants for pickup. She's working on that. The Morristown Partnership is open for calls between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday for the businesses, or to answer any of the questions of the community as to how they might help or support our businesses. Again, a shout out to the mayor and the town. I hear a lot about how good the communications have been, not just about the businesses, but also about what we should be aware of in our community. Finally, again, just if I have to say anything on behalf of the partnership, just continue to support our businesses, continue, if you can afford it, continue to use that takeout. That's it, Stefan.
thank you.
I have a shade tree report. The fall 2019 planting was pushed to the spring of 2020. We're working on 26 tree wells, and as soon as the stay-at-home is lifted, we'll be planting. There's biochar going into 60 business district tree wells when the stay-at-home is lifted. The Arbor Day in Tree City, USA will be celebrated in the fall. A date will be announced. The Shade Tree Commission members are walking each ward. We're looking for vacant spaces for trees, tree stumps, dead trees, trees in need of pruning, trees that have wire issues. Please feel free to email me or the chair of the Shade Tree Commission if you see any of the above. When people are walking around outside now, if you see any of these issues, you can email through the portal on the Morristown website or email me directly. My email's on there, as is Shade Tree. The 2020 Flexi Pay program for the 60 tree wells will occur in the fall of this year. The Shade Tree Commission is getting trained on native species trees and shrubs and plan on bringing more into Morristown. The 2019 systematic tree pruning is complete. And I'd like to say the CFMP, which is on our agenda tonight, is complete and is being voted on. Once approved by the state, the town will receive $3,000 in grant money. The Shade Tree Commission members have completed matching hours, meaning they've worked and volunteered for $3,000 worth of hours so the town can get the $3,000 grant. All of the Shade Tree Commission and all the volunteers in town need to be commended for their time and dedication to Morristown. And I do want to say especially thanks to Rich Wallowitz, our town arborist, for his hard work in creating the CFMP, the mayor and the business administrator for their support. Also, the engineering department, zoning department, and especially the DPW department for their help and cooperation on implementing this, and their continued work on the next 5 years that we're going to be working on that. And I also wanted to say on a separate note, thanks to Bierce Riley for posting signs regarding community safety on her street down on Butt Street. So thank you to Bierce Riley. That's the end of my report.
I just want to report on the Morristown Housing Authority. The meeting that was scheduled for yesterday was canceled. One thing that it is important to mention is that only 4 cases of COVID-19 in the senior housing. And I said only because it's 274 people. So it's a very low rate. It's great. Mr. Kinnard continued working hard with his team. He has reported those confirmed cases to the town health officer and the county as well. On another note, it's not about Morris housing. I just want to report that all the non-for-profits and the churches are working greatly to help our community. I have input in another communities where we have branches of our church, and they don't have that many organizations helping the people. So in Morristown, we're doing great. Today, our church distribute 400 boxes with groceries and some perishable things for people. In our Latino community, the need is great because, as you know, majority of our people don't have steady jobs. They don't have jobs with benefits and so on. So they're running low on their savings. So that's why we're making an effort. And I just want to appeal to anyone who can help us and give us ideas or money to help the people to please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there's not much to report from the parking authority. It's kind of same as last meeting. They're not enforcing parking regulations on street for the time being. And as Councilman Iancone said, they're working with the partnership to block off spaces for restaurant pickup services.
I just want to mention that the Morristown Environmental Commission has, they've been postponed until further notices, their meetings. And I also, on another note, will just want to remind those who have not completed their census to do so. It's very important. And that's all.
Thank you. Good point. All right, if there's no other council liaison reports, we'll jump into regular business. There are no ordinances for introduction, no ordinances for adoption. Just as a note, that has been a joint decision between myself and the administration to limit all non-essential town business. We might want to discuss some of those ordinances that may benefit the community for the summer, but I'll have that discussion with the administration. So jumping into resolutions.
Okay, one moment, please. Okay, there are 5 resolutions for adoption on the agenda this evening. Resolution number R-77-2020, resolution authorizing application for coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security act grant and execution of grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for runway 5-23 rehabilitation nav aids improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport. And I have a motion to adopt resolution R-77-2020.
I'll make a motion to adopt R-777.
Second.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
No.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Councilman Silva is on mute.
You're on mute, David.
Yes. Sorry.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number R-78-2020, resolution authorizing application for coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security act grant and execution of grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration to cover sponsor share of runway 5-23 rehabilitation construction improvements at the Municipal Morristown Airport. May I have a motion to introduce resolution R-78-2020?
I'll make a motion to adopt R-78. 2020.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
No.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number R-79-2020, resolution authorizing application for coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security act grant and execution of grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for runway 5-23 rehabilitation construction, phase 6 improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport. They have a motion to adopt.
If someone can mute their whoever's got the background noise. I'll make a motion to adopt R-79 2020.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilwoman, excuse me, sir. Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
No.
Councilman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution number R-80-2020, a resolution accepting and approving a community forestry management plan for the town of Morristown for 2020 to 2024 and authorizing the submission of the plan to the New Jersey Forest Service.
I'll make a motion to adopt R-80 2020.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-81-2020, a resolution authorizing the extension of the grace period for the authorizing the extension of the grace period for the payment of the second quarter taxes.
I'll make a motion to adopt R-81 2020.
I'll
I'll second.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Hold on. Jillian, can you, for the benefit of the public, can you explain this? Resolution?
Yes, I can. So this afternoon, the governor passed signed an executive order 130, which allows towns the ability to extend the grace period for the second quarter tax payment, which is currently due on May 1st. The ordinary tax grace period is 10 days. So your taxpayer would have through May 10th to pay the taxes without interest or penalty. The executive order allows the municipality by resolution to extend that grace period through June 1st. And so it allows our taxpayers an extra 3 weeks to pay their taxes in light of the current COVID-19 health emergency. And the resolution before you for consideration is in reflection of that executive order.
Thank you. Just a follow-up question. Will the administration be sending out notice to property owners to advise them?
We will post it through social media and send out email notices and get it out as widely as we possibly can.
Okay, thank you. I encourage all council people to send it out to their respective email groups and neighborhoods to try to let everyone know of this benefit.
And I will, if you don't mind, take 30 seconds just to let the public and the council members know. The tax office is open for in-person payments on Mondays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that will continue through the grace period.
Thank you.
Can I ask, can the administration write up something for each of us to have the same notice to send out to all of our constituents so it's worded the exact same, so we're not giving maybe different information, and make it available to us to spread out to the
We'll be issuing a notice via the email blast that you're all subscribed to, and I'll make sure to send that language out to you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Very much.
You're welcome.
Call the question.
Margot is muted.
Excuse me. On the adoption of Resolution R-81-2020, Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Iannicone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
And Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, that concludes the regular business. I think with Councilman Silva's comments on the public hunger issues, there are no further unfinished business items. There are no new business items. Is there anything else that any council member or administration wants to mention before we adjourn?
Other than that, say it's great to see you all on Zoom, and unfortunately we can't meet in public. And thank the public who sent in their email concerns and who continue to support us through virtual meetings. And as Mayor has already echoed, and several other council members, thank everybody who's out here diligently working to keep government running and keep the grocery stores and retail thriving. And again, support the local businesses, the restaurants as much as you can. And other than that, everybody have a great night. Stay blessed, safe, and healthy.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Where's the lead?